content for now just to slip back a little bit and allow other teams to come to the fore. 1 kilometer to go, and here's the switch, and they'll hold this direction now all the way to the finish line. Crash! Big crash, and a lot of riders delayed though, so that forces a little selection on the road. Riders overcooking that right-hander, and that means that there's only a half a dozen or so riders left in contention for this stage. Hope no one was hurt there. Did look like a high-speed crash. One rider still down by the looks of it, but many riders delayed. Nothing will be affected in the general classification as arguments ensue between the ASC Monsters team and one of the Eurocycling Trips teams, contesting one another, getting physical. No one needs to see that. They need to separate themselves and get out of the road. But all these riders will be given the same time in the general classification, but the battle for the stage win is in full flow, and it is Cameron Scott now on the wheel of his teammate Neil Senchuk, who's going to be sprinting alongside him. It's going to be Dylan Hopkins, I think, but here's the battle for the line. Cameron Scott though, Cameron Scott it is. It's going to be a 1-2 for Li Ning, and there we go. It's been emphatic from that performance. Do you know what? I'm not even sure that was Cameron Scott who took the victory there. They're sharing out the spoils among them. We'll have to wait and see. It might even have been Neil Senchuk who got the win there. It was close between those two, I think. But Li Ning just stamping their authority all over that bike race, and in their slipstream as well. Finishing the race safe and sound and avoiding those late spills, Luke Mudgway has won the Pune Grand Tour, and Li Ning have completely dominated affairs. The white jersey showing off his wares there. He finishes all on the same time after that crash. Diego Tayson will be given the white jersey, and the best Indian rider, Harshir Singh, comes over the line having completed his race wearing that blue jersey proudly. Well, high drama there, Graham.
Yeah, very tight last corner there, so I think that took a lot of the riders by surprise, and a touch of wheels, and it happened very close to the front of the peloton, so it really just ruled out the possibilities of anybody else being able to win. But if you're at the front, like leading star were, then you take advantage.
The argument's still continuing amongst those riders. Has some really frayed tempers. You rarely see that in bike racing.
Yeah. But I think as an experienced one in Asia, you do get a little bit more of that over here, but
well, this is the battle for this is the sprint. And was it Cameron Scott or Neil Senchuk? They're quite physically quite similar riders. Okay. It was close between the two of them. I'm going to have to wait for the commissaires to separate those two. Cooling down, and some hot heads do need cooling down there. ASC Monsters were right in the thick of that. I think a lot of their riders went down, and certainly the finger of accusation was pointed their way, but in the heat of battle, Graham, it's easy to point the finger, isn't it, and accuse riders of creating the problems, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not, who knows.
Yeah, the adrenaline's flowing and you get up, and you know, these things happen in bike racing. It's but you don't want to see that sort of thing. A little bit of fighting.
Well, none of that should hide the fact, or mask the fact, or deflect from the fact that the Pune Grand Tour has been really quite a triumph for India and for the state of Maharashtra. And the riders getting to know this country, getting to know this race, have been looked after by some immaculate roads and some fantastic infrastructure. And here is the replay of the winning ride. Kane Richards was involved in that, but well, I think that's Cameron Scott pointing at the winner.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think it was Neil Senchuk who took the win. Celebrities. Amir Khan, that is, who is an actor. Never have guessed by his moustache, would you? branding, the logo of the Pune Grand Tour has been everywhere. And welcome back to the commentary booth, Abhijit Sets, who's come back to join us. That was an interesting stage, wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
That city centre circuit, with all those bends and all the crowd, was fantastic to watch, wasn't it? Really dramatic.
It was really good, and the riders at the end really got stuck up in the small crash.
Indian riders, including Naveen John, who takes a big sip of water there, will be very, very pleased with the way things have worked out. They would have felt vulnerable, I think, at times, that they wouldn't make it inside the time limit, but they have completed en masse, all 6 riders. Here is the, Schnirko. Alexei Schnirko was the Belarusian star today for the leading team, leading out Cameron Scott, I should say, from Australia. Dylan Hopkins finished in 3rd place ahead of Kane Richards, both those riders from the Rugby insurance team. So Dylan Hopkins taking 3rd place. Lozano sprinted to 5th. Mahawi Kudus was 6th. Mora with the top 10 for the Pro Cycling Stats team. And the Malaysian national team, Hamdan Wifje of the Netherlands, and Braden Block, who's been very aggressive over the last couple of days of racing, picked up a top 10 in that reduced bunch sprint, and it was a reduced bunch sprint. There are a few riders like Buglas, for example. Abhijit, Buglas wasn't there because I think he got delayed by the crash.